So I blew the engine on my M5. Hey, what's up guys? Will's Garage here. So if you guys have been following my channel for a while now, you know that I purchased my 2013 M5 about a year and a half ago. And since then I've been driving it, enjoying the car, and I like it a lot. I was planning to make a video on my thoughts on it, making a review on it. But just last week I got the bad news that the engine is seized. The car only has 33,000 miles on it. It had, when I first picked it up, it had about 21,000 on it. So I only put about 12,000 miles on it myself over the past year and a half. There were no warning signs at all. The car is running perfectly fine. I changed all the fluids, changed the spark plugs, as you guys know. I just changed the diff fluid on it, and boom, engine is dead. And it's kind of crazy because I knew that the S63 has some issues, and it's notoriously known to just suddenly go out. But from the research I've done, it's very uncommon for it to go out this early on. And particularly, this car has production issues on this engine, known from production dates of 2012 up until the end of the year, which affects some of the 2013 models, but not the ones that I think have build dates from the beginning of January 2013. And the build date of my car was somewhere around, I think, February or March. The issue that they had with those were the oil pump, where the pump would go out and then the engine would suffer from oil starvation. So given all that, I did not expect the car to go out this early. And I know a lot of you guys are probably saying, yeah, you should have just, gotten a warranty in a car, which I did not, unfortunately. I pretty much rolled the dice, given the fact that the car has such low mileage, it had great maintenance history, and I myself am very particular with making sure the car is maintained properly. So I did not expect this to happen at all. But admittedly, I probably did play some part in contributing to the fact that the engine blew up. So if you guys have ever driven DCT, you know that when you put the shifter into drive mode, it goes into drive auto mode first. And then if you want to put into manual mode, you shift the knob to the right and it automatically goes into manual mode. So what happened was I must have bumped the shifter to the right by accident and was in manual mode without realizing it, surprisingly. And I had the music on pretty loud, didn't really hear the engine noise at all. And apparently I was driving, I'd say probably about maybe 8 to 10 seconds in first gear, maybe somewhere within the medium range of the RPM range, and then hit redline, maybe redline it about 3 seconds or so before I realized that I was in manual mode. So at that moment, I quickly tried to shift it back. I backed off the gas and tried to shift it back into auto mode, and that's when the engine just shut off. And the car just rolled to a stop. Obviously, I lost power steering because the engine shut off. Came to a stop in the middle of the road, and it was just stuck in park. So at this point, naturally, I just tried to start the car again. It would just start running for maybe a second, and then it would just die again. And then I just tried a couple more times. The ignition would start, it would crank, turn over, run for about half a second to a second, shut off. So I was like, okay, the car's dead. So I ended up trying to push the car, but it was stuck in park. For some reason, I couldn't get into neutral. There were some people that came by who wanted to help me out. God bless them. Good Samaritans, but unfortunately, we couldn't get the car into neutral. So I was stuck in the middle of the road for about 45 minutes, so waiting for the tow truck to come. And eventually got it towed to a shop. So, once again, I'm making this video because I just want to share with you guys, any of you guys out there who own an F10 M5 or any other car that has the S63TU engine in it. So other cars that have it's like the M6, the X5 M series. Just know that your engine is not safe. This car is known for having rod bearing issues, which I'm pretty sure what broke in my car, but I guess once I get the more results back from the diagnostic, I'll share that with you guys and keep you updated. There are also injector issues from the earlier models as well, where BMW had to make a revision to the injectors. So what would happen is the injectors would just fill up, would just draw in too much fuel, and it would just hydrolock the engine. And it's just kind of crazy and pretty sad that the car only had 33,000 miles when this happened. And it's just not me. I read through numerous threads where people's engines just suddenly died out of nowhere without warning at all. Really, I mean, my car was running perfectly fine. It was just a dream to drive, and it just suddenly died. Of course, for my case, I probably contributed to a little bit, but even then, so I hit the red line, rode it for about 2 to 3 seconds. I mean, the purpose of the red line really is to cut the fuel out, to save the engine. That's what the red line does. Even particularly for this car right here, the E92 M3 is infamously known for having rod bearing issues. And, I've taken the track numerous times, and I pound it on the track. I ride the red line through some of the corners. I hang very close to it, if not right on red line. And, it's still running just fine. And eventually I will get the rod bearings issue fixed. But for the F10 M5, my case, once again, if you own this car, don't even think about hanging in the red line. If you do, you're just risking it. If you do decide to ride up to the red line, I think, being in there for a split second is okay. But being in that red line area for more than a second or so, you're really probably risking on blowing your engine. So in terms of getting it fixed, I contemplated on selling the car, which I really don't want to do. But I called up BMW. I talked to the dealership as well, and they said out of goodwill, considering how low the mileage is, they may be able to make a case for me and but the best case they said BMW would do is probably pay for 50% of the engine replacement cost, which still comes out to be $25,000. That's $25,000. Absolutely insane. I mean, the M5 is a 6-figure car, brand new, and the engine goes out at 30-something thousand miles. You'd think that BMW could do a little bit more than that, but no, right? I don't know how they could get away with this, considering how widely known and widespread this issue is. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, anyways, the car is at the shop right now. I'm still, doing some more research on engine rebuilds, or trying to find an engine maybe out of another M5. But I'm kind of wary about that because, getting an engine out of, from a junker or some other M5, I just don't have any maintenance history on that car. It doesn't make me really comfortable. So at this point, I'm swaying towards finding a rebuild from a reputable shop and going from there and deciding if I'm going to keep the car or not. I did get some quotes for selling the car as is, and it's extremely low. So I don't know. I really like the car. It was an awesome car to drive. It's just a lot of fun. It has gobs of power. So I might just end up deciding to keep it. But anyways, I'll keep you guys updated on what I decide to do, what type of engine I end up getting, and stay tuned for more.